The average gym goer probably needs about 2 exercises per muscle group. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And when I say that, that doesn't tell us how many total exercises we need because you have to think about what muscle groups you're training, if you're doing some isolation in there or not. But as a general rule, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, again, the average person, and we're not talking about a competitive lifter, not talking about someone chasing an extreme physique, someone who just wants to have really good gains, be fit, be in shape, look good. I generally think about 2 exercises will get it done. It will get it done. Now, when I say that, could they all be compounds? Sure. Could there be some isolation? Sure. But then you have to look at if you're throwing isolation stuff in, you probably need more total movements, and that's actually fine. It's actually perfectly acceptable. And I'm always going to promote the big three. I'm going to tell you most people need to be doing the squat, bench, deadlift, and a row or a pull-up. I like pull-ups and chin-ups a lot, by the way. Anyone who follows me knows that I like them a lot. Also like things like good mornings. So when we say these things, so what does this mean? What do we mean then for a second muscle, second exercise? So if you're bench pressing, I would look at that and say, yeah, you could do another compound movement, and that'll cover a lot of maybe your front delt and other stuff. So you could throw an incline bench in. I think flat bench plus incline bench is a really good combination. What I think also works really well, especially for people who maybe don't have as good a shoulder health, some older guys, a pullover. I really like combining a pullover with a bench press. I have one of my real life friends. That's what I have him doing. Like he's only got like 30 minutes, 3 times a week. He can get into the gym right now, and I'm just like, his whole press. He has a push, pull, and a leg day, right? I have him just come in and do 3 sets of bench, 3 sets of pullovers, 3 sets of press downs, and he gets out of there. Like that's what he does, and that actually covers a lot of arm work. So that's a perfect example. Because the pullover hits the triceps and it works the triceps different than the bench. So I would say for a lot of guys, just doing a flat bench or an incline bench and a pullover probably give you pretty decent chest and triceps. I'm not saying great. I'm not saying you're going to get to a 315 bench, and I'm not saying you're going to have 16-inch arms. Not what I'm saying. But if a guy just wants some decent chest and triceps, that'll get it done. And think about the other balance. Also works the lats, works the rear delts. It's a good combo, but you could throw in some extra triceps for sure. But could a person come in and do a fly or a dumbbell press, an incline dumbbell press after a flat bench? Yeah, I think that would work for a lot of guys. So that's what I mean as an example. Okay, and I'm not going to go too much into all the science behind why I say 2 exercises. There are reasons you want 2 different exercises. That is pretty well understood in the scientific literature, because certain exercises are going to work different muscles more, and we have direct hypertrophy studies. So, and the one I always mention is the bench press and the skull crusher, like the laying extension. When they were studied, the different effects on the tricep were really interesting. The bench press literally causes more tricep growth in one of the heads of the tricep than the extensions do, just for the unaware, at least in novice lifters. And then the extension works the long head more, which is the bigger head. So that's some interesting stuff. So it makes sense. You're like, well, if I bench press, I better do something for the long head, whether it's a pullover or, an extension or something. It would be a good idea. I would recommend it. So, the same thing, you see me doing a deadlift here, right? And no, for people who need this level of advice, they're probably like, yeah, I'll never deadlift that. And that's okay. You don't have to. So posterior chain, a lot of your back. We're on a limb and say for a lot of your back musculature, the deadlift will count towards some of your erectors and traps and stuff. So you could throw a row in for that. But how about for the rest of the posterior chain? You need another hamstring exercise. I don't think the deadlift alone is ideal. I'd like to see, if you can do them safely. I like good mornings. I'm a big fan of good mornings. You'll see me do some in here. Yeah, it's with over 400 pounds when I do the good mornings, but that's okay. You're not going to start there. So good morning, or even a leg curl. So here's the thing I would say, someone at a commercial gym, if you at least do a deadlift and you do a leg curl, I think your hamstrings are probably in a good spot. It will at least prevent you from being too anterior dominant with weak hamstrings. But if you really wanted to take it up a notch, those good mornings right? Good mornings go a long way. But a good morning, I'm not going to recommend for most people starting a glute ham raise. That would work too. So, I mean, perfect example. All right, what about all your back, shoulder stuff? So chin-ups, if you can do chin-ups, great. You can do a lat pull-down row. Actually, I don't even recommend lat pull-downs for people who aren't strong enough to do chin-up. I just have them do rows. Come in and do a bent over barbell row. Okay, that'll handle most of your back. If you can't do a chin, I'd like to see a chin-up. But then we come over, what about the chest up? What about a pullover? Because, we need a second thing. Usually we want to combine a vertical pull and a horizontal pull. They're pretty similar back growth, though, all things considered. So you could do a chin up in a row, but you could also do a pullover because that will work the lats also. Remember, we were talking about it for chest and the long head of the tricep? Yeah. Oh, man, you want to add another exercise to your bench and chin up, still a pullover in. But, just combining a pull-up or a chin-up with a barbell row or a dumbbell row, get a lot done. If you really want the extra lower back, I mean, you want a big trifecta. I mean, that covers a lot of bases. How about you do a barbell row, go with your deadlifts and your good mornings? Now, that's money right there. That's some big movements. Like, for a lot of guys, that's going to cover so many bases. I go so far as to say, if you do that, a row and a chin up, only thing you need to worry about is arms and chest and stuff from there, and then your quads. You're good. You're probably good. For most people, just average gym goer. But I'd like to see a vertical pull and a horizontal pull. But conversely, you could do either one with a pullover too. And again, I think that will work really well for a lot of people. Again, my same one bro, he comes in and on his pull day, he does deadlift, he does a barbell row, because we already do the pullover on the press day. Then he does a curl. I have him do a simple barbell curl. So how about biceps? Well, if you're already doing a chin up, that's one of your bicep exercises. One type of curl, you're good. I like a simple straight bar curl, but I think a preacher curl, I think an alternating dumbbell curl can work there. I think it can work really well. Right? Then you got two bicep exercises. If you're not doing a chin up and you're doing rows or whatever instead of pullover, you might need two types of curls. Maybe you could combine a straight bar with an alternating dumbbell curl. That's a good combo. Preacher with an incline. Most guys, that'll cover your biceps pretty effectively. So then you come over and say, well, what about legs? What about shoulders? Obviously, I want you squatting. And anything beyond that, look, I leg press. Any sort of machine squat is a secondary exercise. But if you're really beat up, so let's say you're squatting and deadlifting and doing good mornings and all that stuff, and your recovery is limited, right? You're not a serious athlete. I think a leg extension is perfectly fine. You can come and do a leg extension, be just fine. And then for shoulders, if you're doing all that other stuff, like you're doing an incline or whatever, a pullover, I don't know that you need a lot of shoulder work. You can just do some lateral raises. You'll probably be fine. But you could probably do an overhead press, especially if you're doing a row and a pullover already. That's a lot of rear delt, and someone in that case really might be fine with literally just doing an overhead press in addition to that. And because you're still hitting everything from a couple different angles. So again, pretty straightforward. This is basic stuff for beginners. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.